Remember the circle of trust. All right.
Are we live?
We're live.
We
Incredible.
are live. Monad in the Morning, episode 24. It is Thursday, my favorite day of the week. And this is the reason why it is my favorite day of the week, because we get to hang out here. And back with Jussup, we've got Kevin back as well. I don't think he's on camera right now. And we also have FinTech Frank, very special guest, Frank Chaparro, joining us live in New York. Thanks, Frank, for being with us today.
Thanks for having me. I didn't know there'd be so many angles.
We've got all the angles here on Monad in the Morning. We can take up to 6 people, but today we're going to do 4, and happy about that. So should be a ton of fun. Jussup looking very handsome today.
Yeah, can we get a zoom in on Jussup actually?
I don't know what you guys are talking about. I wear this every day.
This is what he wears when he doesn't care what he looks like.
Jussup, I'm sure you did not think anyone was going to ask you this question, but I gotta ask, with the medal, you had this amazing feat recently.
Oh, this whole thing? I didn't even notice I was wearing it.
Congratulate. For anyone who doesn't know, Jussup basically went to hell and back through a physical, I don't even know what to call this. I mean, it's obviously a race, but like just about as hard as you can push your body and brain. Jussup recently did this. You had an awesome tweet thread on it. Would love to, just hear from your perspective. Like what actually happened? Can you break it down? And
yeah, it was insanely hard. So I ran 50 miles, but but I only trained for 4 weeks. So like I've ran a 250-mile race, but this was like just really hard because I didn't train. So when I at mile 38, I just hit a wall because I was sleep deprived, not trained, and it was just so hard. Like I had to literally have conversations with myself like every step. I'm like, all right, you're gonna just quit, and then you start to like think of all of the things you're gonna tell people why you quit. I was literally like, when I get to the aid station, I'll just like collapse, and then they tell me I have to quit. Like you're literally just coming up with these stupid narratives, and had to just keep pushing, man. It was terrible.
Well,
I'm very impressed.
Yeah, 50 mile. I was like, you got to mile 38, and I'm thinking about him like, you have 12 left. I couldn't run 12 miles right now at all.
Yeah.
If really you put it in perspective, when you actually like go out and run, or in my case, I biked like 15 miles with the wife over the weekend, nice leisurely ride, and I was gassed by the end.
I walked 2 blocks to the subway. I thought I was going to keel over.
See, yep, I'm with you there. Yeah. So Jussup, huge shout out, great accomplishment there, and now you're dressed up like a mad lad on the Monad in the Morning, looking good.
That's right.
And there is a metaphor in here somewhere that Monad thought we were going on a 10-mile race, and we're past mile 38 now, but it's been a long race. A lot of people have been counting us out, but it's just about to start happening, ladies and gentlemen. Very excited.
This is very almost metaphorical, right? Mile 50 is the mainnet launch.
Yeah, mile 50 is the mainnet launch, but you know what? On a 500-mile race, you got to start with the first 50. So we'll get that out there soon. A lot more information on that to come in the near future. We wouldn't be talking about mainnet. We know that. We don't want to. The community's sensitive. You don't want to say mainnet, then it's too far away. They're like, oh my God, where's mainnet? Oh my God.
But hey, it's just like a race. You know?
It's fine.
Where's mile 50? It's coming.
Yeah,
it's there.
We get it. But now we're talking about it. So it actually is coming soon. So we got the race. We got some Monad talk going. We have Frank Chaparro here, who, besides being incredibly handsome, is just one of like the OG people who have been working in crypto for a very long time. It's an honor to have you on the show. You've been I feel like a good friend since I joined CMS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll never forget the first day I met you in Times Square at Consensus 2021, I think it was.
Yeah.
We were much younger gentlemen than we are now. And yeah, that feels like almost a century ago. I would never consider myself an OG in crypto. I feel like coming up into this space in 2017, you had like the whisperings, right, of the OG era. So like 2014, 2015, those guys were just starting to like subside from the public eye, but they were still lingering and still there and at events and stuff. But I mean, yeah, when you actually think about it, it's like 8 years, which
It's a
is
long
just
time.
a long time, many cycles, but this cycle is just unlike any other.
Mhm.
For a myriad of reasons. I mean, I remember back in 2017, I was covering the space as a reporter at a mainstream publication at Business Insider. And when we were running up to 20K Bitcoin, a lot of the excitement was around, as you would know, the institutions getting into the space. So I was covering firms like Citi
Mhm.
and Goldman and JP Morgan and kind of the ways in which they were looking at the space. There was this big story I did on Citigroup looking into Bitcoin custody. And it's wild to think that here we are in 2025 at 100K plus Bitcoin, and those guys are still where they were
Yeah,
8 years ago,
kind of
which
the
is
same
bullish.
story too.
It's the same story. We're looking at it, we're exploring X, we're exploring Y, but the market's still where we are. And so that's what makes me incredibly excited is once the pipes and plumbing of our financial systems are unlocked for crypto, I mean, how are you bearish, Anon? Like this
Yeah,
is unbelievable.
Well, we had that news this morning. What is it? Trump is like, you can put shitcoins in your 401k. Like now shitcoins are actually a retirement
An
thesis.
$8.7 trillion industry is vis-a-vis executive order going to be unlocked. And that's just one barrier, right? There's a whole nother myriad of barriers for this asset class. Again, the banking system, which up until recently was basically walled off to cryptocurrency firms, is still in the early innings of kind of unlocking there. Banks, for instance, they can't touch the underlying assets yet. They're not comfortable with it. They don't have even necessarily not just the infrastructure, but the regulatory sort of blessing yet.
Mhm.
Obviously, with the new administration, that's a little bit different, but it's still there. And then there's a cultural element still, especially among what I've identified as the financial advisor ecosystem. So again, trillions of dollars of assets, and these guys still are not deploying or allocating in a way that's significant. So I just think it's gonna. I mean, sometimes I miss being a reporter because of days like today where there's these crazy stories, but I kind of get to play one on TV sometimes where I'll like break news on Twitter, and it's like
Yeah.
kind of you get the same thrill. But it's going to be an interesting year.
Yeah.
think.
I mean, I still have notifications on for you on Twitter because I think you put some breaking news out
I
like
try. Yeah.
a day or two ago.
Yeah.
It's the all caps. It's got the little asterisk to start. That's
Yeah,
how you know it's real.
Justin,
Exactly. Breaking.
all
It's got the alarm.
caps.
Perfect. But I've had him on for a while. It's funny you brought up the first time we met at the Masari conference 2021. I still remember it too. I don't know why my brain's so broken, but like I still remember the exact meme that I sent on that day as well. GM had like kind of just become a thing, which is so funny. But at that point, right, your Frankie Page views, working on the block side, like basically the main reporter covering a lot of crypto angles, or at least from kind of my Conan perspective at the time. Would love to hear like coming from 2017 through 2021, like really covering crypto for 3 cycles now. What was that path like? Like what was the early days of Frank Chaparro, and what did it kind of grow into? And, how was the journey with the block? Like would love to just get the backstory.
I mean, a lot of it just started at identifying these key personalities and following their career, right? So some of the early stories we would put out were just, so-and-so joins X company to do Y. And I mean, that involved me just doom scrolling LinkedIn. I mean, the amount of time I spent on LinkedIn in 2017, 2018 was kind of depressing. And again, there was a mix of, Wall Street people joining Coinbase and Wall Street people joining firms like Kraken to build out similar Wall Street like infrastructure within these firms. And that was kind of the big meta back then. And then obviously, like, each cycle is driven by different major news events, right?
Mhm.
Like then we had Libra in 2019, and I
Yep.
was, schlepping down to Washington D.C. in a suit
Oh my
to
god.
cover the hearings.
Probably look good in a suit though.
It was hot though.
Oh, yeah, I
I mean,
believe it.
DC's hot.
Yeah.
And then obviously 2021 was just the mania and
Yeah.
the craziness, and
Super cycle.
every company was becoming a unicorn. So you had at that time, I think I was doing the math at one point, and I think we had like 70 crypto unicorns in it before the entire credit crisis. And then
FTX was buying every single one of them.
yeah,
Towards the
yeah.
end, you had infinite leverage.
Infinite leverage. I mean, it really was a credit crisis that brought down the space, right? And that's another bullish thing about the present is the fact that you have 100K plus Bitcoin without the underpinning froth of $100 billion unrefined, glued together, duct taped together
Yeah.
credit market.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who maybe a year and a half ago were like, the two things I need to come back, or one would be regulatory clarity, and then two, like you need the credit market to come back. They're like, crypto's never going to go nuts until the credit market comes back. And it really hasn't. Like there's a couple people playing in that space, but like there's no genesis.
No.
Basically, there's no like BlockFi filling this gap of like uncollateralized loans, and people are just using it to double down on crypto.
And you know what?
Or at least we haven't heard of it.
Yeah, I mean, there are obviously players. But I mean, the real issue wasn't necessarily that there was a lot of under collateralized lending. It was that there was a lot of lending on shitcoins that were over collateralized until they weren't, until they drew down like 80% and then became under collateralized. And so the idea of collateral in crypto really needed to be reconfigured. I'll never forget, and this is the best part of what my job was getting to talk to everyone and sort of, kind of hear the whisperings in the market. And I've got so many stories, but I'll distinctly remember in 2019, I got on the phone with the CEO of an exchange, and he said to me, Frank, we can't hire any crypto credit risk analysts. Like they just don't exist. Like there's crypto people and then there's credit risk people, and never the twain shall meet. Like I can't find any of these guys.
Oil and water.
And I just remember thinking like, that would be a pretty interesting story. Like there's this gap in the market of people that understood risk and credit risk specifically. And then a year later, obviously it was 2 years later. I mean, this was like the first canary in the coal mine. And I remember spending so much time trying to like think through mapping out the entire credit ecosystem and asking questions. I'll never forget in Crypto Bahamas, I was speaking with the CEO of Voyager.
Oh yeah.
And it was me and Larry Cermak, and we're asking him like, how are you giving this yield? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Or as Larry would put it, this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. For anyone who has not,
he's Czech.
Yeah.
I'm very good at impressions.
Enormous. I need to get some impressions.
Yeah.
Towards the end of this.
Well, I mean,
maybe some Ben Stiller impressions.
Ben Stiller.
For anyone who I know we're live right now. We started with about 10 minutes of unrecorded Ben Stiller impressions to kick off.
We were talking about Tropic Thunder.
Epic movie. There's your early 2000s movie reference. I know a lot of people keep track at home.
They've got their bingo card out.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, there's a lot of market makers out there that want to borrow stablecoin. There's like huge demand for stablecoin. And so they pay us a yield for that. Obviously, it turned out with the bankruptcy and everything that it was really one market maker, and it was Three Arrows. I think they made up like 60% of the book.
Yep.
So just a huge concentration of risk. So that was the whole 2021 saga. And then obviously you had the market completely unwind. But it never felt that obviously like the block was personally impacted by that event, so to speak. Very much impacted. I mean,
100%. Yeah.
We had tens of millions of dollars of loans taken out via VRC, our former CEO. But no, I mean, even in the wake of that, nothing felt more bleak than 2018. That was just, I mean, you want to talk about crypto Twitter today. I feel like it's just this it's just a it's like the Pacific Ocean. And in 2018, it was just like,
Pond.
a pond. And it was
Yeah.
just the same 20 guys just pontificating ad nauseum to each other.
Yeah, I mean, people will talk about crypto Twitter now, and they're like, "Oh no, that's in like a different part of crypto Twitter." And I kind of had to like relearn. I'm like, "Oh, there are different parts of crypto. It's not just like one big pool anymore. There's like, oh no, that's NFT side, or that's like yield farming side, or that's like Kaido Yap side. Like it went from just kind of one room where everyone was talking together to now there's multiple. It's just expanded an insane amount, which I guess like that is a natural byproduct of the space growing so much. It does make sense.
Yeah. And you have each ecosystem has their own like community and online presence.
Yeah, yeah.
And some of them are, you would think they're, it's like, why is it so robust? And they're XRP,
Crazy.
Litecoin, the Litecoin people, they love my
It's coming back.
thinking about Litecoin meme.
Yeah.
I'm like almost a deity in the Litecoin community, which is funny, and the Monad community. I think, as well. But,
Very early.
I mean, even
big
just-
Monad guy.
Same here.
I'm wearing my shirt. Got it underneath.
Oh, nice.
There we go. Can we get that?
Can you
Frank, can you
zoom
see it
in?
on the? We can't zoom in, but
Yeah,
you can see.
you can see it.
You got the Fokker reference if you want to make.
There's
it dirty.
you guys sent some awesome swag. Those socks.
Oh yeah.
Do you
like
have the socks? They're like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
softest
Oh,
socks
yeah.
I've ever experienced.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Life changing.
It's like the Monad swag is like 80% of my wardrobe at this point. It's like I open up my closet. It's like, which Monad shirt is it going to be today?
Mm.
the long sleeve one is really good. The black long sleeve.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that the thin hoodie one or the other?
No, it's the other one.
Yeah.
I don't have the thin hoodie one.
Well, speaking of merch for the viewers at home, Frank, you may not be familiar, but we spin this wheel for community members who tune in live and ask good questions that we end up asking on the show. And one of the things you can win, one of the prizes, is Monad merch. So if you're tuning in at home,
Do we have any?
come up with a good question, and
A
we'll.
question that was asked
Yeah.
is, can we add plushies on there?
Are those things?
Yeah. I don't see why not. I don't really
think we
have
probably
the
could.
authority.
You guys need to make a Monad Labubu. What's that thing that all the
Yes.
girls are getting?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are they called
We need Dubai
Lababos?
chocolate and Labubus.
Labubus.
Is
yeah,
they're called Labubus?
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
they-
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Those
I'm
things,
so hip.
those things took the internet by storm,
Yeah.
like out of nowhere.
Danny, I'll just go EO executive order. We can put the plushie on the thing.
Executive order approved. Permission granted. We have an open slot on the wheel.
And we're
I'm gonna
putting a
get out.
plushie. People are gonna go nuts for that. Automatically just became the biggest prize on the wheel, I think. Besides James's car.
Yep. We've got some people firing up the LLMs in the chat. We're
Yeah,
gonna
but
ask a good
before we
question.
get into some of the community questions for you, Frank, love to also hear there was recently a career change and you've joined Breaking just in 3 weeks ago, joined GSR. What kind of prompted the?
Well, I mean, so my whole career really started in covering this pedantic underbelly of the markets. I was like a U.S. equity market structure reporter, so that involved covering U.S. exchanges and trading firms. So I've always had an interest in the trading, market making world. And back then, these firms were much more behind the scenes, secretive. I'll never forget. This only happened to me once in my career, but I got a call from a source at a firm to tell me that this guy was leaving Jump to join Kraken. I think his name was Steve Hunt. He was joining to be CTO or I think CTO of Kraken. This was in 2018.
Nice.
And it was the only time I got a call where a guy used like a voice masking device.
Oh my god.
He was like, Frank, you got this guy joining Kraken. Steve Hunt. I'm like, who is this?
That's a good Alex Jones impression.
Yeah. They're making the frogs into crypto people. They're turning the frogs into market structure wonks. It's the water. It's the fluoride. They're making them bullish. That does sound like Alex Jones. I do find that a lot of my impressions just like, end up being a raspy voice. But So I've always had that inclination. That was always like, and even at the block, right? Like a lot of the stories that I would write up when I was doing a lot of writing was just hitting up all the desks and just getting color, and kind of aggregating the color into like temperature checks on the market. So looking at volumes, looking at flows, looking at expansion into new arenas and to new products. And there's sort of these interesting sagas that happen. Like I remember in 2021, everyone wanted to be a full service prime broker. So you had Tagomi, you had BitGo opened up a prime shop, BlockFi opened up a prime shop, or what was considered like prime like at the time. So that was always like my area of focus. So it was really a natural extension of what I've been writing about and what I've been covering for the past 7 years. So to me, it was a very natural fit. And now I get to see like what's on the inside of these firms. And it's just like anything else. Like, I covered venture too. And, it wasn't until I started writing angel checks after I stepped down from my editorial position that you really understand the wonky, pedantic nature of investing in this market. And each seed deal or each angel deal is wildly different. I mean, sometimes there's like paperwork, sometimes there's not,
Yeah.
and you're just sending coins out to some guy and wherever they are in the ether, so to speak. And it's been a similar experience, even just 3 weeks at GSR, where I'm like, oh, that's how the market works, or this is how this element works. And I'm sure you experienced the same thing when you were at CMS, right? Like,
yeah.
there was, I mean, I'm sure Dan it was a constant flow of Dan knowledge drops for you. I can't remember that one golden tidbit that you shared on Twitter where it had something to do with like, why hasn't someone taken this opportunity?
Oh yeah.
And you're like, and
Oh,
he's like,
God.
that's our opportunity.
Yeah, I got a pair.
That's why we are here, or something like that.
Yeah, so I studied physics and econ in college.
Yeah.
And one of the things you learn in econ,
Physics.
physics guy. What are you gonna do with physics? I'm gonna go shitcoin.
Genius.
And one of the things you learn in econ is like
Different to the moon.
like
basically.
people will capture opportunities in the market. And so there was like this one, I'm gonna have to paraphrase the tweet, or we'll have to pull it up, but I believe it was like why, like they wanted to go buy something based on either news or information that we got. And I was like, well, like, wouldn't that be priced in? And they were like, intern, like, who do you think prices this in?
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit. Okay. That's how the market where I was literally an intern at the firm. And I was like, oh, that's how these firms operate and make money. Like people need to actually do the work that changes the price. So yeah, CMS was such a crazy learning experience because I worked on the venture team, but most of CMS is actually the liquid book, which is traded, and it's just partner capital. So Dan had been trading like about as long as anyone in crypto, right? He was running Circle's trading desk and then started CMS. So he had all these crazy information flows. I'm hearing and learning from the liquid side. And my day job was working on the venture side. So like I'm learning about startups, market structure for the venture front, hearing how the liquid traders work. And then also doing the Twitter stuff. So kind of learning like, all right, here's a social dynamic, here's a liquid market, here's the illiquid market. And then joined Monad. Now I've been like, all right, and this is kind of what it looks like to be on the builder side, on the other side of the desk. So I'm basically trying to learn at least a decent amount on each piece, because I feel like when you learn kind of, there's like 3 Venn diagrams, most people don't have all 3. And when you do learn all 3, then you can kind of find this thing in the middle that no one really knows about, and there's opportunity there.
Yeah.
So I feel like you'll be in a very similar position. Like most people have not gone from reporter and getting all of the inside scoops to then actually working at a market making firm, seeing how the sausage is made, so to speak, and then also running the comm side. Like it's a very unique experience and perspective, I think.
I'll never forget. I actually met, so this is one of the cool things about what my job was just being early. I got like a front row seat to some of these journeys. And I met Bobby for coffee once, the co-founder, Dan's
Yeah, yeah.
co-founder. The C in CMS.
Yeah, Bobby Cho, the C in CMS. People don't
And-
know what CMS stands for.
Yeah, it's just the
Cho,
last name.
Metashevsky, Sagan.
Yeah,
3 names.
the same as GSR.
There you go. I didn't know that.
Gil
I didn't know
Rosenblum,
that.
and then I always forget the third
Yeah.
one because
An S,
he's not at
DS.
the company. But he goes, yeah, we're raising we've cobbled together 20, I think it was $20 million at the time, and now they're like one of the most prominent market participants. It's interesting that you say the thing about like you're never all three things. It's the same in reporting too. You either are a really good writer and a good sourcer, or you're either a really good sourcer and a good good on the subject matter expertise, but you're never really all three. You're never a great writer, great at networking, and great at subject matter expertise. I feel like that was always my weakest point, because in crypto, it's like you got to be a master of all. So I really relied on the breadth and depth of our research capabilities at the block, and in many ways helped surface some of those insights, and kind of not too dissimilar from what I'll be doing at GSR, right? You've got all these guys and gals that are just super in the weeds on stuff. And it's like, they don't even know. And you probably experienced this in your capacity here. They don't necessarily know what's interesting because they're so in it. They're so in the weeds of it. It's like, no, that's a
very
very exciting.
headline. People want to hear that.
People want to hear this. And it's the same thing with some of the companies that I've invested in or advised. Like, they don't necessarily know how to break into the zeitgeist of what's interesting, because I think they're maybe too concerned about putting out something on, the product or, the project itself. But it's like, you can weigh in on these interesting conversations that are being had, and do a thoughtful job at like weaving yourself in, the weave. I do the weave, weaving yourself into the conversation or the dialogue.
Yeah.
Well, I would imagine that like it's probably changed a lot over the past 6-7 years. If I'm correct in this assumption, I wasn't around in 2018, but it was probably like hard to find any new interesting news, right? Like there just wasn't that much going on.
It was like John McAfee going on some bender.
I talked to him
coin
once.
of the day. Did you meet him?
No,
I've talked to him on the phone.
Gotcha. He was like, Frank.
Here we get his harass. Yeah, I need the impression.
He did sound like this.
That's actually what he sounded.
It's like, Frank, I don't have time to convince you that this is all good. Because at the time I was like, Bitcoin was kind of thrusted upon me. So I had an editor who was like, I was covering fintech and market structure. He was like, we really need to cover this Bitcoin thing. It was at like $1,000 at the time.
Oh, wow.
I think, or like something like that. It was after Japan like banned it. They were all back then. It was like a game of whack-a-mole of different countries banning it in some capacity or some form.
Yeah.
And one of my other editors was like, if you're going to get into this, you got to talk to John. I'm like, I'm thinking John's at like a bank or something. And so,
like the antivirus guy.
Yeah. And so, I'm like, John McAfee. I was kind of sad when he died, because I had a few conversations with him. So, but I was still kind of trying to understand why Bitcoin was important at that time. Like, I didn't know the difference between Bitcoin and a piece of biscotti in 2018. And there were a few people. John McAfee helped me understand Bitcoin. There were some like random anons on Twitter that I would DM. I mean, it was pretty. I mean, you want to talk about not a lot of interesting things going on. The amount of time I spent just DMing like anons, like Big D, what's his, Senpai. And,
nice. Shout out Big D Senpai. I did not think we were going to get that reference today.
Yeah, no, he's the one that keeps track of all the copy pastas.
Yeah, that's one of the best threads in all of crypto.
I just hope no one in my family listens to this, because you're going to be like, you don't sound like you have a real job.
Yeah, well.
And it's a very relatable issue for
I mean, we run a morning show on Throughput Thursday.
Yeah. What was the what sort of sparked this? What sort of?
This was the brainchild of Danny and Jessup. Just like talking about having experience in different Venn diagrams, I think Jessup had an awesome background in kind of medium production. Danny and Jessup had worked together. Danny was running some of the media stuff at Mana at the time. And so it was really just them coming together. I think Jessup saw this space. It used to just be a speakeasy.
Really?
Yeah. That, like, when we initially moved into the office, they were like, and here's a speakeasy room.
Do you ever talk about where the office is, or is it like a secret?
Secret.
It's a secret.
I don't
right?
know. We don't. Yeah.
I don't think so. Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
But I think Jessup saw it.
We're in like the Sahara or something, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome to our Nova Scotia studio.
Yeah. Nova.
thanks for flying up.
You ever see that meme where it's like my VC friend and it's like, I'm in a tunnel under, the British Canal, you know
He's
what
like-
I'm talking about?
He's like Bear Grylls.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, pretty similar to what Kevin's getting at with that story. I started, heard about Monad in early 2023, thought it was pretty interesting, new intern at the time, and had worked with Jessup previously, but there was no one really doing any sort of like media, especially on the video side around Monad. And at that time, like there wasn't a ton of information either as to like what was really like what Monad was, who was behind it. It was like pretty sparse. You had to go digging, probably not quite as deep as you did in 2018 to pull up a fresh scoop then. But yeah, it was something that I found really interesting. No one was really covering the media side. I didn't have like a significant background in it, but I decided to just start up the Pipeline, which at the time was a podcast, and just having like kind of crypto conversations in general. Would bring on
Frank was
Keone.
on the Pipeline, right? Or no?
No.
Oh, Ledger was. Ledger.
Yeah. We had some great guests on the Pipeline podcast, but yeah, did maybe 25 episodes or so, and then we were looking to do more and more media. And I'd known Jessup for a while, so he was definitely like my go-to guy every time I had a question on like podcast production or setup or logistics. And I eventually wanted to get beyond doing a podcast. Found the live format pretty fun. Great way to engage with the community viewers from all over the world. And
I think it's important because, I mean, there's so many obviously protocols operating this space, and then built on top of each, layer one, you have effectively the same entities on top of it, right? So like, you have your DEX protocol, you have your perps thing, you've got your your NFT platform. And I feel like the crypto media landscape doesn't do a great job of covering the sort of holistic, the ecosystems holistically. So you kind of need these venues and these platforms to kind of shed light on what's happening, because they're not really going to get that much coverage.
No, and if we've learned anything, it's like you want to own the distribution channel as much as possible. Like if you are relying on third parties to cover something and give attention to the thing that you care about, like they might disagree with you. They might not think something's worth covering. And if you don't have your own distribution channel, you don't really have any leverage. You can't actually blast out. So I think building that like first from the Twitter front, and then from the media side, starting the own or our own podcast, and then Jessup and Danny starting this show, like just building out your own distribution channels that you own, then you have full control over what gets put into it. And I know, and like you just have, your own.
Back when I was in radio, they would say, "Kiss the mic."
You want to be just like this.
You
I don't want that. Usually,
not very
Karma, who runs NFTs at Monad, is usually the person who does ASMR on the show. I don't know if the community likes my ASMR.
Let us know in the chat.
Yeah, so I'm guessing that there are a couple. I don't have my computer today, but I'm guessing there are a couple.
There are a lot of questions.
A lot of questions for Frank. I have
how much time, how long have we been doing this?
I'm not sure.
Oh my god, it's been 40 minutes already.
Have
I said anything interesting?
Only 6 hours to go.
I liked your John McAfee story was very interesting.
It's not real.
I have one question that I wanted to ask, and then can jump on to the community side. But you have covered, I mean, your Frankie Scoops, you have covered
I
more-
was Frankie Scoops.
Yes.
I was talking to my therapist about this. When you change jobs, you really change identities, and we're working through that.
I believe you. I switched from CMS intern, which was my persona. Now
I don't
was
even know who I am
lost.
anymore.
Now I'm just a
like
common,
wandering
I'm a
through the
common
desert.
noun
Mhm.
intern.
Now your brother is the intern.
I know. I'm not even like you have your name. You're like at least a
That's
name
sad.
I own. I'm
Are you
literally
okay?
a common noun now.
That's all right.
But
Anyway.
going back to Frankie Scoops, I don't want to cause more of a schism in your brain between
That's
the
okay.
past and the present. Going back to Frankie Scoops, have there been any stories that like stand out in your head as like this was the best or this was like the most interesting kind of coverage or story that I dove into? And it doesn't have to necessarily be the one that got the most clicks. It definitely could be. There's obviously like FTX, which generally when people think of the highest impact thing, that's at the center. But yeah, any of the coverage stand out to you as this one is one of the biggest?
I mean, there was just unpacking the FTX meltdown for those 3 months was just, it was a grind.
Crazy.
I just remember being in my backyard. I was living in Brooklyn at the time on my patio, just like calling person after person, trying to find out like, how did the back door work? Was there a back door? There was no back door. And during that time, I think I spoke to like probably every major crypto exchange CEO to kind of work through how something like this could have happened. But I kind of sometimes think about like where I was for certain things. In 2018, I remember staying up till like 4 a.m. writing this story about a kind of breakdown in Coinbase's institutional business in 2018, which was kind of a lot of the material in that story was reflected in Jeff John Roberts' book about Coinbase.
This isn't the Coinbase Pro like GDAX.
GDAX,
right?
yeah,
it
exactly.
was GDAX.
It was
okay,
GDAX.
yeah, GDAX.
And so
classic.
that story was cool because it was early in the industry's maturation.
Yeah.
And the piece did like kind of like examine or look at a lot of the key characters within Coinbase, and kind of just set a foundation for that whole narrative, or the firm's growth. I'm trying to think of like big explosive pieces. I mean, there were a lot of there was one of the first investigations that we did. So in 2018, to your point, like it was kind of quiet. So we had more time to like
nothing.
do some interesting, fun enterprise reporting. And we did one on this ICO at the time called Blockchain Terminal. And we were a small team. So like kind of everybody was involved in like writing this thing. Larry and Steven, and we had one other reporter. It was me and this woman, Isabel. And this guy basically, and like I spent like a few months on this. This guy basically raised $30 million to build like the crypto version of a Bloomberg terminal. But I don't know if nobody really knows about this, but this guy came from Canada. I think he was originally Israeli. He changed his name from Boaz Menor to Sean McDonald, did like facial reconstruction surgery, grew a beard, raised these funds, and kind of like, embezzled the money, so to speak. And he had some like legitimate, it was kind of really captured the ICO era perfectly. But so after that story went out, the FBI opened up an investigation into the company and they ended up getting sued by the DOJ, but that guy's still at large. So
there was a Netflix documentary that came out about a Canadian, this is different, but Canadian exchange.
Oh, that was Quadriga. That was
Quadriga. Okay,
that was the guy with Crohn's disese.
Yeah, but
I didn't even know Crohn's disease could kill you, but apparently, yeah, I definitely want to keep track of that.
Oh well. All right, I've dominated a lot of the conversation with what I want to hear about. What does the community want to hear about?
We've got quite a few questions from the community. They're all over the map. But we'll just dive into a very heavy question from Nagi Seshiro 1996. Can you ask Frank why he shaved his mustache?
That's a good
Oh,
question.
Mustache
That's a great
Frank
question.
when?
Mustache Frank went. So that's another kind of meme where it's like, you know, when the mustache comes in, there's like it's like a groundhog. It's like the groundhog in crypto markets. If the mustache is there, 6 more weeks
6
of
more
bull
weeks of
cycle.
market.
If the mustache isn't, some honestly, some
It's over.
what am I?
Can we grow it out again?
Yeah, what am I talking about here?
It seems like just a choice.
Yeah.
So you're just
It's market. It's a form of market manipulation. At the end of the day, like I put on a long, I shave the mustache. No, sometimes I just don't shave right. So like I'll clip a little too high, and then I just have
You
to
gotta
shave.
just get rid
I
of the
just got to
whole
get rid of
thing.
the whole thing. Otherwise, I'm like, Hulk Hogan, rest in peace, or like Charlie Chaplin, or whatever it might be, and it just looks messed up.
Oh my goodness.
But
This is
it'll
a
come
great
back.
question.
That's a great question.
That's worth a spin to
Oh,
win. That
definitely
person
worth.
knowing Frank's lawyer.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, definitely worth a spin. Another, honestly, the second one on the list is a bit more serious, but this time for real. Nonetheless, interesting. Obviously, Frank, you've interviewed a ton of founders. What's the bullshit detector moment that you've learned to watch for? This question's coming from Mirth Mono. Shout out Mirth Mono.
Oh,
Thanks,
Mirth.
Mirth. That's a really good question. I mean, a lot of people ask me who's your favorite guest or who's your least favorite guest. And ultimately, I don't think I have as good of a bullshit detector as I do like an enthusiasm or like legitimate joy for what they do. Like it's very clear when someone's kind of like not having a good time. And so obviously, like if you're investing in something, if you don't see that, if you don't like see the underpinning joy, this sounds a little like, maybe a little frou-frou-y, but then you kind of, maybe that's not a project to
what
invest
is that
in. because
word?
Frou-frou-y,
I like that word.
Fugazi, Fugazi,
Okay,
Fakakta.
frou-frou-y. All right.
So I try to look for that. I often, one question that trips people up when I ask them a lot of the times, and they'll like ask it back to me is, "Are you having fun?" And they're like, "Am I having fun?" And one time I had,
fun.
and then I had a guy on the podcast once say, "I never really thought about that. I guess." It's like, geez, that sounds a little bleak, but I think you want to look for that unbridled passion and tenacity.
Who do you think has the most of it? At least that out of the folks that you've talked to.
Oh, I mean, you talk to someone like, this guy, you can clearly identify it.
What, the frou-frou-y?
No, the tenacity. I think like a lot of, you don't really see it on the institutional side among some of the like Wall Street players. And in 2021, we, probably interviewed a lot more of those types. And you could tell, especially from the traditional investing side, that they weren't completely bought in just through the fact that they didn't have that passion. I think this industry is really not for the faint of heart. You've got to have something a little bit wrong with you to get locked in and stick around.
Yeah, a lot of.
But like, I mean,
wrong. The more that's wrong with you, the more you probably will like crypto.
I mean, like people that stand out to me are like, like Robert Leshner. I mean, this guy's just relentless from a building perspective.
He's doing that takeover thing recently
Hasib
too. Oh yeah, Hasib killer.
Awesome killer instinct and really, really sharp. We've got a lot of really interesting people in this space.
On a similar topic, question from the community, Brother Banksy asks, did you have any family that was anti-crypto? And if so, what did they think of you getting into the space? And now what do they think, given you were Frankie Scoops?
It makes me think that this is a trap question from my cousin, but I don't want to put him on the spot.
I saw that when I'm asking, but now you have a lot of stories about your family.
Yeah, I have I mean, like, my godfather once was like, I can't touch it, Frank. If I can't touch it, how is it real? Like, you can't touch all the money in your bank, but there's some realness to it.
I've touched all the money in the bank.
Yeah, he's like sitting on it, a throne of his money. Did you see that guy who raised like $1 million seed round and he took took it all out of the bank.
You put
You
it in
see
his
this?
mattress.
No, he just like took a picture with it. It
Oh,
was super cringe.
Oh, all right.
But I have a cousin who's in traditional finance, and he just hates crypto. I think he just hates it.
Yeah.
So with him, I try not to talk too much about it. But I have my godmother actually. She bought Coinbase stock when it IPO'd because she was like, "Oh, Frank does this crypto shit." Like,
I'll buy it on
and
IPO
she
day.
bought it on IPO day, and she's diamond hands that. She's almost
She's
like
back, right? I think it.
after the recent drawdown.
Yeah.
I
I think I saw it get close or make new all-time highs, which
I
I
think
never
when it was,
thought
I
was
think
gonna
when it was
happen.
over 430, that would have been
Yeah.
above. That would have been all time highs.
There's actually a joke back at CMS, and on the off chance Dan is watching this, I'm just going to throw it out there. But Bobby Cho
Yeah,
went on
he went on
CNBC to talk about Coinbase stock on the Coinbase IPO day, which was awesome. And then it was like the top, and it went down. He's like, and Bobby's like, I'm never going on CNBC again.
So
until Coinbase gets back to
we did the
all-time high.
same thing. He did CNBC because it was the first major crypto IPO, so there was a lot of broadcasts on it. And I went on Fox, and both of us were asked the same question, like, will it go higher? And we both kind of said, yeah, like, if Bitcoin goes higher, you should expect Coinbase to go higher. And so like I kind of gave an unsophisticated rundown of like, I don't know if they put this in the headline, but it was like, analyst says Bitcoin or Coinbase is going above 500. And I'm like, so that was my last. So
And
until
that's when
that
your godmother
happens,
bought it.
yeah,
And then it went to what, like 30?
No, it never went that low. I think it went down to like 70.
70?
Did it go to 30?
No, I'm making that
I mean,
up.
maybe it did. We can check.
I mean, I'm just doing top to bottom on Bitcoin and assuming Coinbase followed a similar path.
No, it might have. But yeah, so he won't go. He's like, I'm never going back on.
No,
It did go. It went to.
It's up
33.
3% today.
It went to 33.
It went to 33.
'Cause I remember-
January 6, 2023.
That's around
That's
when
grim.
that's around
That's
when,
a 10x from there.
Yeah.
If you bought it,
That's
low.
why I was like, I was pretty sure because that Kathy Wood sold around then. And Kathy Wood, who runs ARK Invest, which is like emerging tech ETF. But yeah, 33, 10x.
No, mostly, yeah. They think it's cool
Yeah,
for the most part.
nice.
What
What about your guys?
Personally, have a lot of adversity getting into crypto, but people definitely thought I was silly. Like I remember,
It is so silly.
I remember when you were trading NFTs like on Solana and I guess
Everybody
fall.
thought I was ridiculous for the NFT metaverse
Oh, yeah.
saga.
My dad was like, "You just graduated from school. You have no money. Why are you buying pictures for thousands of dollars
That's
on
what
the
I-
internet? You're
yeah.
gonna lose your
Badgers.
shirt." I was like,
I've never made money on NFTs.
same. I was
Except for
actually thinking-
metaverse, which is kind of like NFTs adjacent.
Yeah.
I bought some like land and what was it? Sandbox?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I had like 5 plots of land.
I think I'm 5 for 6.
I was like a
on
feudal
NFTs.
lord in the sandbox
Yeah.
ecosystem.
digital real estate
Yeah.
mogul Frank Shaparo.
I was like, we're gonna build in the sandbox. We're gonna build.
It's
It's
gonna,
gonna
be the
build
greatest
back better.
sandbox.
Unbelievable.
I think NFT is the only thing I've consistently traded well.
Well, really?
Yeah, because
That market's like super. It's like I think 90. There's I forget who put out the research on this, but 99% of anyone who's bought an NFT is less money.
I'm the 1%.
So you're the 1%.
Dude, I'm telling
That's
you, I was
impressive.
like by far the biggest thing I did 2021 was the Degen Apes. I went like super long, and then they went like 20x. That was when my dad went. He went
Yeah.
from, oh, you're working at like a hedge fund, venture fund in crypto. Like, is this a scam? I don't know if I like this or what. Then I was like, I just put like a bunch of money into these pictures of apes. He's like, what? I'm like, it's a new blockchain. I think a lot more people are going to come in when they see these do well, which means more money. He's like, this is the worst idea you've ever had. Like, I thought my son was a good, smart person. This is so dumb.
What happened to the physics?
Yeah, where's the physics in this?
Your dad also
then
sounds like John McAfee.
3
What are you
weeks
doing?
later, I had listed my apes. 3 weeks later, they all got lifted when I was driving back from dinner with my parents. And I was like, hey, Dad, all my apes sold. and I made like 15x all my money. He's like, oh, this is crazy.
This
Like
is
he
literally
got pilled from
this
that.
is literally the personification of "Are you winning, son?"
It was literally,
Yeah,
are you
yes.
winning, son? And when I was
And you were
losing, he
like-
thought it was dumb. And then when I was winning, he's like, this is cool.
It's just you with like the gray cloud over your head, laying down on the ground.
And then, so like, that was the only big trade. And then all through the bear market, I'm like, I'm just going to hold Mad Lads, Pudgy Penguins. And then I bought a CryptoPunk. And those are like the three that are doing well. I don't know what it
CryptoPunks
is.
are doing well.
I did buy Sandbox Land. That's the one that I am down on.
You still have it?
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, I don't like, if something's down 95%, I don't sell.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
I don't even know.
I guess tax loss harvesting, like if I were to do that, then
You're like, taxes. I don't pay taxes.
I pay all of my taxes. Which,
So do I. Yeah.
yeah.
No,
I was
I
actually thinking
really
about-
do. I really do.
Yeah.
I was thinking about NFTs recently though, because I am not in your camp, Kevin. I have not made money on NFTs, although I have bought a lot of NFTs throughout the past couple of years. I've done much better personally on meme coins, and I think it's like largely
Tom Bien.
due to liquidity. You can get out, and also you don't have like the same emotional connection with the pictures that
Totally.
NFTs just like seem to give. But
Yeah.
honestly, would be interested. There's probably not clean data out there, but if there was data on like profitability off of NFTs versus meme coins, I know it's a small.
Maybe it was meme
I-
coins that are 99% lose money.
That is true.
I think
So
3%
I think,
of pump fund traders are profitable.
Really?
so I
That's
think
crazy.
the probably the better way to break down this, like from a high level, if you're trying to do NFTs versus meme coins, the amount of dollars that have been sucked out of the market from the meme coin side.
But you know
from-
what's funny? It's not just the meme coins. I feel like crypto IPOs have sucked liquidity out of crypto.
100%.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of liquidity flying around the
No.
trenches right now.
It's pretty.
But like
big.
if you look at, okay, these are the amount of people trading this thing, and like Pump Fund alone has pulled, I guess now like basically $2 billion out. They pulled like $1 billion in revenue and then $1 billion in that sale. There's just so, and then like usually there's a couple insiders that make all the money because they just sell the chart to zero. And so there's like a very small amount of people that are bringing in all the cash. And I feel like for NFTs, like you had, yeah, maybe a couple really expensive mints, and that was net outflow. But it's like the net outflows of meme coins are so much higher, in my opinion. So I don't know. I mean, do you count it as lose money if you are holding an NFT that has like a floor bid that's like 50% of what you bought it for? Like I would say, yeah, it's down 50%, but in reality, you don't actually have money. You just own this picture in your wallet. So it's hard to, you know.
I guess that's probably why I mean, who knows what's coming, but like the 2021 NFT cycle was probably 3 times as long as the 24 into 25 meme coin cycle, and that's probably just a product of that churn. right?
Longer or shorter?
Shorter. The meme coin cycle is shorter.
Yeah, meme coins are shorter. 'cause-
NFTs was like 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
It was unbelievable.
We hit an end when Trump launched a token.
yeah, yeah.
So do you think our
Oh.
meme coins are destructive to the space or additive?
I think they are additive to crypto overall, but I would not choose to be a participant of that
Mm.
market. Like if that makes sense. I think
Mhm.
crypto's better off with a lot of volume and people trading and some people getting rich and some people losing money. Like that's good for the market. But like, yeah, if someone asked me, hey, I found this meme coin, I'm trying to get in, I'd be like, stay away.
Yeah.
Like it's like a casino, right? Like the casino will make a bunch of money, but if there was this young kid who looks up to you as a mentor, you're not going to be like, hit the casino because they make, right? Because you're like, the participants lose money.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good thing that exists in the space.
Well, an interesting thing, it's not like purely meme coins, but you have like this creator capital markets notion now. And this idea that like you can come into crypto with very little following, and if you go create something cool, people might buy that. I'm curious, Frank, if you have any thoughts.
No,
on
so like I've always been torn between those two perspectives, right?
Are you going to launch a coin, Frank?
Yeah,
creator?
Frank Coin. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Well, me and
All right,
Melton have always talked about launching Frank Bank for
Oh,
the
I like
longest time.
that. Yeah.
But I think it's super interesting when we think about where crypto is going. It's kind of like we're all going to have wallets, right? And everything in our lives will be represented on those wallets. Everything
Including loved ones.
in our financial maybe not that, but like, stable coins will have cash, our equities will be tokenized, and
Yeah.
it all kind of reside there and be super interoperable, and you'll be able to leverage against all those different positions. But then what you have with meme coins and NFTs is sort of the financialization of culture. And I think the prospect of being able to, like, if you are funny or have some personality or a creator, you have for the first time vis-a-vis crypto the ability to leverage that, which is super interesting. And also sort of you can earn from your virality, which is also super interesting. And it's just super powerful. I mean, think about all the amazing memes. And we live in a world of memes now where they kind of just go into the ether and you have no ability to profit off of them. So that's why I think it's a powerful tool. And
Yeah.
in some ways it's wealth generative, and in other ways it's wealth destructive, as we've seen.
Yeah. I think there's really two kind of key aspects. And one is that, like, crypto is basically a way that, like, you can pretty much financialize anything.
Yeah.
And then
Even our loved ones.
Even, I guess, our loved ones. We're soon to find out what that looks like, which brings me to point number 2. The actual mechanism design is the other side, right? So I see a lot of value created via either talents or creators or personalities, or maybe like literal memes like Bowden, RIP. That was an amazing meme, but coin got smoked. And then you're like, okay, well, this is a thing that pops up, right? This gets a lot of attention. How do we financialize it? And the easiest way was just, I'm just going to make a coin with that name. Because then the more people that hear the name, the coin should grow, in which case there should be more buyers and it should go up.
But it makes sense though, right? Because you can imagine, or when you think about a meme, they do have a life cycle.
Oh yeah.
So it stands to reason that a meme coin will have a similar sort of Eiffel Tower like approach. I mean, there are very few memes that like stand the test of time. I don't know if we'll be saying GM in 5 years.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Well, I think you just go back to the Lindy effect, right? I would say GM, it came about during Masari mainnet 2021, which...
Wow, there's an origin story to it.
Well, no, I did, because I remember the meme I posted on Twitter. It was like this big box. This guy's like, I'm not going to describe a meme verbally live on stream, but the meme was about GM, and GM have been a thing for about 3 months. This is memology, SpongeBob, the study of memes. But it had been a thing for like 3. I think that was probably April. It came out like early 2021. Or no, that was the summer. That was July. And so early 2021, and then it's like, well, now it's mid 2025. It's about 4 years. Maybe it sticks around for about another 4 years. Isn't that's the Lindy effect? About as long as something exists, has existed, is probably how long it will exist into the future.
Yeah.
That's your Eiffel Tower.
That's exactly right. But even with Bowden, like, I remember thinking, like, is that, like, how do you have a robust, like, if he dies, like, why would if anybody dies, or not dies, not to sound so like grotesque or for him, but you do lose
a real possibility.
You lose some of the value, I think. I was always thinking, I was like, he's an old person.
Yeah.
So
well, this is a problem.
The contrarian example to that would be the Ozzy Osbourne NFTs pumping on the date that he passed away. I don't know what happened after that. Probably not much to that point.
Yeah.
But there's like a life cycle to these things.
Yeah.
Or
Dan, you guys are calling the shots. I think we're literally just jamming. So if there's anything we should talk about, or time constraints, anything like that.
Well, one that it's a different subject, but I think it would be interesting and valuable for the community, especially given Frank's tenure of working kind of like full time in crypto. What, like 6 years now?
8.
8. Oh,
8
my.
years
yeah.
now. I should get better at math. But Nacho asked, what advice can you
These
give?
names.
Yeah.
Great
Was-
names in the Monad community. And sometimes we mispronounce the names and then they go
They have
and
to change their name.
If we
to what?
mispronounce
Oh, that becomes the new name.
it, yep. You've
That's
been
funny.
you've been
Yeah.
assigned a new name.
Shout out Suzuki.
out. Now it's Suzuki.
Suzuki.
You guys like know all these guys. This
Oh my
is
God.
funny.
You would not believe the behind the scenes manual. Like John W. Rich Kid and Bill Monday are a literal encyclopedia. They know thousands of people by first name. They know their attributes, what they've created, like it's truly unbelievable.
Yeah.
And the time also is like a unique factor. Like a lot of times when a project launches, you get like a month or two of pre-launch marketing, community building, ramp up, and then you're off and rolling with the main net or the live product. But for Monad, it's been like almost 3 years now
Yeah.
that a lot of the community has been around for at least a year, like very consistently. So we've interfaced with them in different capacities. We've met community members at meetups all over the world. And
So what does Nacho Libre want to know?
Nacho wants to know what advice Nacho Libre, maybe
Nacho
that's a new name, Nacho. What
Especially
advice
delicious.
would you give to people that are considering working in Web3? And as an extension of that, what profiles do you think are most in demand right now?
I think obviously communicators are very much in demand because that's where I sit. So it's a bit,
People who
self-serving.
can get scoops and communicate.
People who can just sort of digest the importance of what we're doing here in this industry to different audiences is a hyper valuable skill that I think is missing. Helping projects, especially given all the meme coinery and everything, cut through the noise, or cut through the noise of even not just meme coins, but digital asset treasury companies and
what's happening?
whatever the topic du jour is, I think is super important. And just in general, like to be in crypto, I mean, there's a few things. Just in life, right? The grass is always greener. When you're at a company for 7 years, there's a lot of shiny objects that make you think that, things are better in different terrains, but every project, every place, every company has its headaches. So, you have to kind of stay the course, I think, and have a degree of tenacity. And then also in this space, given that overnight people can become fabulously rich off of something ridiculous, comparison should not be the thief of joy. And so I think sometimes in this space that people can fall victim to that. And I would say, don't let that happen.
Stay the course.
Yeah.
It's almost like the same things that hold true, or it's almost like you had and I've actually thought about starting a company before that's like it's fortune cookies, but instead of fortune cookies, it's just like old grandma's wisdom type stuff. But that seems like it's like,
let me open up my checkbook.
Do you like grandma's wisdom fortune cookies? Like people love it. It's just like old, like Nassim Taleb type sayings.
But it's important. I mean,
yeah. It's just like good life wisdom.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, a bunch of random people get rich for stupid reasons in your industry. Like, don't let that get you down.
Definitely not.
Focus on yourself.
Focus
on
the
good stuff.
Yeah.
And eventually, like, maybe that'll happen to you.
The other thing that's super important, and I don't want to talk myself up too much, but a lot of people have said to me that I'm like the first person that respected them in this industry. Bitcoin sign guy said this to me at PubKey. He was like, you were the first person to ever pay me any attention, pay me any mind. And that's super important, I think, as an investor, as an angel, and as a venture capitalist, is you never know who's going to end up in the positions that they end up in. Like, I mean, there are some crazy growth stories, right? Young people who become wildly successful. Like I think of guy at Athena. I mean, he's a young guy, and it's now a multi-billion-dollar project. And so never write anybody off either.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, even if they don't have the right background or don't, have the network, so to speak, don't write people off. That's been a pillar of my, even with the podcast. Like, I've taken some chances on people where I'm like, I don't know if they're going to be great, but let's see.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
Try it out.
Yeah.
It makes me think of one thing as well. I had a kid who reached out from the college that I went to, and I talked to him 2 days ago. And he was asking just like about general career advice. And one thing that always stood out to me with crypto was that like there weren't real, and it's less true now because the industry's been around for longer. But like in 2017, trying to get a job, no one had 5 years experience working in crypto at that time because there literally weren't jobs. Like people weren't doing that. And so, whereas if you go into consulting or investment banking, like you're going to work for a guy who works for a guy who's been at the firm for 50 years.
Yeah.
There's no possible way that you can like move up quickly and be one of the guys at the heads of the firm. Like these guys have 50 years experience. There's ingrained relationships. All of this exists.
And they're probably better, to be fair.
Yeah. They've been doing it for 50 years. Like you get pretty good at something over that long. In crypto, that just wasn't true. It's like it doesn't matter if this guy is 55 years old with a PhD.
He's not going to have more than 10 years.
He doesn't have more experience shitcoining than me because no one could, because I've been trading them as long as there's been shitcoins. Like it's impossible. And so
primordial ooze.
Like those early industries have that benefit of like, if you're young and smart, I would target these industries because you can move up to the top very quickly because there isn't really a set hierarchy. There isn't like a commoditized way that you flow through the industry for lack of a better word. Yeah.
A lot of these companies are very flat in the way that they operate. And so it's really up to you how much responsibility you want to take on in many cases. Which has been great to see. Like our producer at the Block, started out as like the intern's intern and now runs all multimedia for the Block. And I think there's a lot of stories like that. Like I always joke, and my girlfriend appreciates it because I'm not always super self-deprecating, but I once said to her, if I never had crypto, I'd just be some random bond reporter somewhere, like a publications no one's heard of. I was at a crypto publication that most people haven't heard of, but in the crypto industry, it was influential. But I think that's true of a lot of crypto people. Like we'd kind of just be, what would we be doing? We'd be middling. But there's something about our character that drew us here.
Yeah.
Which was, I think, kind of cool. Either you're a scammer or you're just super tenacious. And I don't want to say I'm a visionary, but
I'll say you're a visionary. I'll say you're a visionary. One thing that I would expect to have seen come up from this show so far that hasn't, like, I was literally an intern in the industry, and Up Only, this podcast that Kobe and Ledger would run, they would have uncool guests, and so like I would just take notes on it and post them.
That was super cool.
But and it was just like I was watching it anyways.
I'll talk you up. What's super cool about that is you created like a new medium almost. Like you created, it's beyond a meme. Like you created a new mechanism of communication vis-a-vis the intern, which is actually insane. It's like not equivalent to making like radio or broadcast television, but in the same way that the technology bros have created this like this sort of a market for live engagements such as these, like you created a new content type, which is super cool.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Because now everybody wants to have an intern.
Well, I was just like,
and it's great. Like from an algorithm perspective, you have this constant flywheel of engagement between the two accounts, right? Is that how you came up with it? Like you just thought like, how can we increase, like, was there an algo perspective that led you to that? Or
so literally what happened was I was like, I signed up
to do.
I signed up to watch some God, I
Ledger
don't know,
Pump.
pitch day or something. And Dan tweeted about it. And I was like, yeah, I'm going. And then after, I can't remember if it was Salsa Tequila or Crypto Messi, now known as Agent Chud, for anyone who's like deep in the crypto Twitter lore. They were like, hey, like what happened during this thing? And I was like, oh, I actually took notes. He's like, yeah, you're an intern. I figured you would take notes on this, like post them on Twitter because I want to know. And I was like, oh, cool. Okay. Like, yeah, I posted them and then he retweeted them. And I was like, wait, I'm already taking notes on this stuff already. Like, this is pretty
And this
good.
was before AI.
I hand took every single note. I still do. But then the up only thing, I'm like, people probably want the same thing. And so would just write notes on it, post them. And every once in a while, Kobe or Ledger would retweet it. And that was how my account grew.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, Kobe retweeted this thing. And I mean, you probably know more than anyone. If you are posting something that's information, you get a lot of followers from that. If you post memes, you'll get a lot of likes, not that many followers.
Yeah.
You post information, you're going to get a lot of followers. And so like posting that information, what I was going to say is like, there's all these people that are tuning in every single week. Not one of them has posted just like their write up or notes or breakdown of the show yet. Like Pipeline would retweet that 100%. Like you could, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a great point. I think what's different now is you can easily pull a transcript of the show, run it through an LLM, and you'll get like just very generic notes about what was talked about with no like insight, no distilling of that information. But one of the best things about those notes is like you were hand picking out the key info and packaging it in a way that was like very human readable, and it felt like
That's a really good point.
Giving you the TLDR of the episode as opposed to like, I don't know, there's something about the way that LLMs like structure notes from a transcript that I think people are almost allergic to nowadays. And you'll see the post.
Yeah.
If anything, that the even better. If you're tuning in and you just write down what people say, like
right. Oh, I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I'm just saying like it's kind of like a different way that you go about it nowadays with all of the slop.
All right. So I would say this, it's at least as easy as when I was doing it. Probably easier if you use AI to supplement in some form. You're already tuning in. You're already going to spend the time. So like just put it, and then since there's new guests that come on, it's like you take notes, you post them, the pipeline probably consistently retweets you. Now you might get Frank Japaro retweeting you this week. He's got a bunch of followers. Like it's also, it plays into the people, like people who have a lot of followers want their followers to see that people care about what they're saying and that they're like going on podcasts and shows. It makes them like seem cooler and it validates the fact that they should have a lot of followers. And
it's
so
the same thing about clipping, right? It's like when you have
you want to post, look at Gainsey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
100%.
I want to retweet all the clips that you guys are doing, and then you just build followers that way. Yeah.
And we have proof of success on that front. Like shout out Q. I mean, there's
Q.
many others as
Just
well.
Q.
But Q was a community member. We changed his name live on the show, and Q's been pumping out like really, really good clips. And I've retweeted like 3 or 4 for the past couple weeks off of Pipeline and my personal, because they're banger clips. So shout out everyone who's clipping. We're gonna do some spins for the Clippers.
He says, "Hey,"
as
he's
well.
He's in there.
Appreciate
What up,
you, Q.
Q?
Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah. And it's so easy to be like, yo, like if you see someone do it consistently, like I remember Ledger one time, just like out of the blue, I woke up and had like 800 new followers. And at the time I only had like 5,000. And so I was like, oh my God, what happened? And then I saw Ledger tweeted like, hey, shout out at CMS intern for taking notes on every one of these dumb episodes. Like everyone should go follow him. It was just like one account doing that and is like crazy growth. Like people
100%.
will do that. And then people are like, I don't know how to get into the crypto industry. It's like, dude, just do this. Like it's so easy. You just have to actually spend an hour or two and then it'll work.
And be relatively consistent, I think is the other.
Bro, for sure.
I mean, I remember when I was in college, there was a woman in my biology class. It was my senior year. So I was just starting out as a reporter. She had like 50,000 followers on Instagram doing like influencer stuff, you know, like clothes, fashion stuff. And I was like, hey, Olivia, like, how did you grow that following? She said, just consistency, like just put out as much content as you can consistently. Even in the beginning, it's going to be hitting no one.
Mm.
But to your point, you're going to get that retweet from somebody at some point that gets the wheels in motion. And then it's like kind of like can be hyperbolic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's good alpha, and then we can move on from this topic. But I think for a lot of members of the Monad community, the natural and more broadly for sure, but the natural inclination is to like do something and then be like, hey, I did this thing. Like look at what I did, for Monad in the morning this week. And that may get noticed, but it also may not. However, if you do that same thing 5 weeks in a row, 8 weeks in a row,
1,000,000%.
10 weeks in a row, and
Yeah.
it is valuable, you're gonna pick up the retweet at some point. So pick something, do it well, do it with consistency. Hopefully you enjoy what you're doing, and growth follows from there.
I would also say, like, don't even just do it on the expectation that somebody's going to retweet you, because like you can still make an entire career clipping Mr. Beast and he doesn't repost your clip ever. It's like you have to be smart enough to pick the things that are going to actually get shared. So, like find the clips in these moments and during these shows that are gonna get virality. Don't just solely rely on like, hey, Frank is gonna retweet this. Like if you make a clip out of something that is not good take, then he's not gonna retweet it.
I mean, if at the same time though, if you go and clip some of Frank's impressions,
yeah,
you might retweet. He'll at
but
least
that's
gonna
but
comment.
those are good. Like those have
Yeah, yeah,
virality to it. So
Yeah.
I think that's my point. Is like
I
you
don't
got
know.
to be.
It's really
select-
easy. People are like, I've been trying for so long and I can't figure out how to break it. I'm like, you probably have not been trying then.
Yeah.
If you spend 4 hours, you just write some notes, someone's gonna retweet you. Like, then you find that van, you just keep doing it. Like, it's very straightforward.
Yeah. I think that makes sense. I mean, Monad in the morning's dropping some serious practical advice.
We're all about growing.
Yeah.
Growing the community. I think there's a new group chat called the Midfluencers that Tunes is running. So if you drop enough notes and you get enough followers, and you can join the Midfluencers of Monad.
That's funny.
Yeah. All right, Danny, I don't want to, you're keeping us organized here and I don't want to get off track.
What do you think? We've been cooking for a while here. You want to be respectful of Frank's time, want to do like a final alpha, and then we'll start spinning the wheel for the community. And if you want to hang out for that, by all means, but
Yeah.
don't have to.
How long does that take?
Well, I
Maybe
think we've
5,
got
10 minutes.
The
Yeah.
spinning?
Yeah.
How does it
maybe
take that long?
15.
Really?
15 probably.
good.
No,
We
I've got to work.
Okay.
But
All right, we can rip the final alpha.
So is that like how you end each show?
Yes.
Okay.
Sometimes 1 in the morning, every single time podcast, but the final alpha, I ramble for a little bit to give you time to think. It's basically the final thing that you want to leave the audience with, right? So it could be a piece of wisdom. It could be something that will go on our new joint venture that we potentially are launching, the Grandma's Wisdom Fortune Cookies. Could be a joke, could be a secret recipe, could be, a secret story. It really can be like literally anything that you want, but just like one kind of final tidbit. Maybe it's a truth that you discovered as a kid and you have kind of held true. It could be an insight that you've gleaned from working in this ridiculous industry for so long. It could be what coins GSR is working directly with and how people should take financial advice on that. It could be really anything, but we'll pass the mic to you for the final.
No, that
alpha.
makes sense. I mean, hopefully I've shared some interesting tidbits for projects out there that are building. I would say, again, because there's such limited airwaves out there, if you really want to break through the noise, look at where the market's going. And if you want to get media, look at what reporters are focusing on and creating house views on those topics. So instead of pushing your most recent fundraising announcement or your most recent product, look at the topics that are dominating the conversation and think of your view. And a lot of the times I have really smart people, like friends or firms that have invested in it, and I go to them because I have a good reporter network, and reporters say to me, I'm working on this story about, crypto IPO mania and like the significance of it and how liquidity is being sucked out of the secondary crypto market. what are the ramifications? And I'll go to a founder who, like, maybe has a tech background or something, and I'll say, can you speak to this reporter about this topic? And their gut reaction is, well, I'm not an expert. I'm like, well, like, no one's really an expert on anything, right?
Kind of
What did
this new thing.
what did
up.
Aristotle say? The real person who's a genius is the person who says that they're not. I don't think that's the exact quote, but something to that effect. And so I think take that swing. And then what's so funny is oftentimes after I give that opportunity to someone, they'll come back to me like 2 weeks later with like, we've got our pre test net that we're going to roll out. We want the Wall Street Journal to cover it. I'm like, you could have been in the Wall Street Journal if you just like came up with something smart to say on this topic that people actually care about.
Yeah.
So that's two things. It's like, try to like insert yourself into the discourse, so to speak, the current thing, as we say.
Yeah.
And take some shots,
Have an opinion.
Have an opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many things in crypto where it just seems like, no one's really an expert. And so if you have some background knowledge, then you probably actually know more than most.
People are they're too, obviously no one wants to look too silly, but, I would say a lot of these people would have insightful things to say. They're just overly cautious.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'll leave it there.
Well, that was a fantastic Final Alpha. Frank, this was an amazing episode. So
thank you
that we were able to have you in person.
Yeah.
I did,
anytime.
Absolutely.
Let's see you soon.
Thanks, guys. Editor, our remote editor, Savant, shout out Savant, says he has 29 timestamps for clips from this episode.
Oh, so amazing.
Beautiful.
That's pretty darn good. And for the community who's following along, we'll share some of those timestamps with you as well. So definitely expecting a bunch of clips and really appreciate the time, Frank. We'll have to run it back again soon.
Okay.
Awesome.
There we go.
We just exit live.
All righty. Jessup and I are going to hang around to do some spins for the community. We've got some spins for those who asked questions. We also have some spins for those who created some content, some clips from last week's episode and the past few weeks as well. In addition, if you want more Monad action after this show, Cryptunes is starting up his space in 31 minutes. It's going to be a good one today because Lever, I believe, is joining Tunes on his space. And Lever has just announced a $3 million fundraise.
They did announce it.
Which awesome. I believe brings, don't quote me on this. We like to give early information on Monad in the morning, but that may mean that it's not always 100% correct. But I think this is correct. So I'm going to say it. I believe Lever's $3 million round brings the total ecosystem funding for Monad ecosystem projects pre-mainnet to over $100 million. Boom. Intern is nodding in the background. That means the information is correct. Over $100 million in funding in the Monad ecosystem for pre-mainnet projects. This is super, super exciting. This gives teams essential funding they need to go ship banger products and staff their teams accordingly for all the user traffic expected on mainnet. So huge shout out to the Lever Bet team bringing a very novel application to crypto, leveraged sports betting. I've talked to several of my friends in the who aren't in crypto, but tend to do some sports gambling. And they think this idea is very, very cool. So super excited. Shout out Lever. Going to be
congrats, Lever.
Yeah. Congrats to the Lever team for sure. Go follow at Lever. Let me make sure I get their handle right. At Lever, LEVR_BET for all the updates. Again, congrats to the Lever team. We'll have them on Monad in the morning in the coming weeks. So look out for that as well. But for today's show, it is time to spin the wheel. We had some community members ask awesome questions of Frank, and we look forward to seeing some of your clips as well. And
what do we got on the wheel?
Clips, we will also spin for some clippers from the past couple weeks. So wheel this week, it hasn't changed too much from last week. It's hard to get perfect prizes when you already have perfect prizes, right, Jessup?
I saw a tweet from, or not a tweet, but a message from James saying something along the lines of like, do not remove the car.
The car is on.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
He is very adamant about making sure that car is on there.
And we appreciate it. It's a great prize. So
we got the car, we added the plushie.
Yep, I believe we asked 4 community questions, so we'll run through those first, and then we'll do spins for some of the clippers that I've seen on the timeline recently. Definitely huge shout out to anyone who is clipping the Monad in the Morning show. Quick bit of advice though. It is very important, and we cover this on our Friday streams for creator tips and creator feedback, but it is very important to clip a meaningful section of the live stream. And you also want to start with a very compelling hook. You want to start with something that captures attention, that makes a potential viewer actually want to watch the video. If it starts with, yeah, you know, so there was this, actually, Jessup, that's not a good moment to clip, and certainly not a good moment to start a clip with. So look for those moments where our smart guests, who are a lot smarter and have much more insightful things to say than I do, people like Frank, wait until they start talking.
And oftentimes, like, you don't even need to include the question. Sometimes I've seen clips where they start with the question that is like just totally not necessary. So I would say experiment as much as possible, but really try to index on just making really banger clips that will do well. And
100%. You can start at mid-sentence. Like, what you're really trying to do is just like take a moment that's going to pique somebody's interest. So without further ado, first question that was asked of Frank from the community, Nagi Seishiro, 1996, with the question about the mustache. That was a banger. This spin is for you. What do we got, Jessup?
respin.
Respin. All right. Got to get warmed up. Single spin, little wrist action.
Lollipop?
Oh, a
NPC?
lollipop NPC NFT.
What is that?
Shout out Yacht. Oh, Jessup, you missed last week, but I think we had that on the week before as well. Yacht from the community created a pretty funny collection on testnet. Lollipop NPCs. They're different community members, Keone, different Monad Foundation team members, and I think some category labs folks as well with these lollipops. Good
with some lollies.
Good prize there. And if you are a winner on today's show, DM Savant on Twitter. That is at SSSAVANTTT. If you are a winner of a prize, DM Savant on Twitter. That is how you are able to claim your prize.
Do not DM Savant.
Correct. If you do not win a prize, do not DM Savant. Otherwise, you will be permanently and perpetually banned from the chat. So, yeah. All right. Next up, Mirth Mono. Good question as well.
This one's for
about
Mirth.
Interviewing founders. This one's for Mirth.
Respin.
Respin.
I'm gonna
loosen that thing up. Get this wheel flying, Jessup. Throughput Thursday. Let's crank it up. There we go. Oh yeah.
A mainnet follow.
Main
account follow, not a mainnet follow.
Close enough.
Close enough. We have a big announcement, and it is not mainnet. It is that Mirth Mono is getting a main account follow.
You
There
had
we
to
go.
check that.
Yeah, I was like, that doesn't even make any sense. And I don't know if you have any mainnet anything on the wheel. All right, that one's for Mirth Mono. Next up, we got Nacho. It's Nacho _79. A good question on advice working in Web3. Here we go.
Is that a respin?
Damn respin.
APAC follow.
Follow from the APAC account coming your way, Nacho. I have a feeling you might already have that follow, but we will see. Next one up, Brother Banksy. Good question about family being anti-crypto. These were some really good questions. They were like really on point for the guest. Interesting topics. I like these questions a lot today. What do we got?
Plushie.
Brother Banksy taking home a plushie. That's a banger prize. We got the plushie on the wheel this week, and this one is going to Brother Banksy. Hit up Savant at SSSAVANTTT on Twitter, x.com to claim your prize. If and only if you are a winner of a prize on today's show. If you are not, don't DM Savant.
Q asked, "Where's my medal?" It's right here. It's heavy. It's solid.
Yeah, that's some good hardware, Jessup. Maybe we'll put that on the wheel.
Yeah.
No.
All right. Those were the community questions, but I also made a note of some of the clippers and creators that we've seen creating some awesome content from Monad in the morning on the timeline as of late. First up, Fury at Chopper State 1 on X. Fury's not only been creating some cool clips, but some great artwork for each episode of Monad in the morning. Keep them coming, Fury. Love your style. Love the contributions and appreciate you very much. This spin is for you.
Artwork that I saw this morning that was hilarious was the Men in Black.
Oh
thing.
yeah, that one was
pretty funny.
that gave me a chuckle as well.
That was good.
Yeah,
All right.
like that. This one's for Fury. Chopper State.
Monad hat.
Ooh, all right. That's good. All right, that's Fury. Also, Black Panther, OG Pipeline intern. Shout out Black Panther, creating some great Monad in the morning clips. I saw quite a few from last week's episode where we missed you, Jessup, but we got it done. We got it done, and Black Panther was there to clip it. So this spin is for you.
I was stuck on the tarmac for 7 hours.
Yeah, not jealous. Whoa. Oh, so it was technically over this line, and then it went to this line. So I say we pick whatever's better for Black Panther.
Yeah. So the other one was a main account block.
Ooh.
And instead, he's getting Monad swag.
Okay. All right. That's good. That's well deserved. The swag is more deserved than the block. So we're going to go with that one for Black Panther because we make the rules on Monad in
Settle
the
down,
morning.
Q.
Q. Next spin is for Nuke Lion. Nuke Lion's been clipping for a while. Love the clips. Keep them coming. Nuke Lion.
Ooh, James's car.
Oh, banger. All right. Now the prizes are flowing. Nuke Lion.
Nuke Lion, have you won a James car before? Because something tells me that you have, but I could be mistaken.
There's no rule that's ever been made on Monad in the morning that says you can't win.
Totally.
Two.
I'm just curious. Who do we got next while we wait? Nope. First
car for Nuke Lion. Hit up Savant. Car coming your way. And the next one is Q.
Q.
Gotta spin
I'm
for
doing
Q.
this one for Q.
These clips are so good. Keep them coming. If you want notes on how to make a good clip, look at what Q's clipping. Look at how he's editing. This spin is for Q.
Monad hat.
Monad Q already has a Monad hat.
Should we
for
spin
sure.
again?
We just sent Q merch. Yeah. Them's are the rules. What do we got?
Pipeline follow.
Q already has that as well. Triple spin for Q this week. This is the last one though. Whatever it lands on, you either get it or you don't.
Monad swag.
Q, we've spun too many times for you. You've won all the prizes. We'll see you next week. Keep the clips coming. We appreciate you. Shout out Q. I guess this will be Q's prize. We'll live read out at I am just Q. IAMJUSTQ. That is Q's Twitter handle. Q has
I'll
been
even put it on here.
Yeah, get it on the screen. We just made up a prize
So,
for Q.
What is
If you're at IAMJUST capital Q. All right, we'll get that on the screen. If you're watching, follow Just Q on x.com. He is creating some banger content, epic vlog out of the Greece meetup with the Nads, tons of clips from Monad in the morning, from podcasts. Honestly, if you're looking to learn about Monad, sure, you should be following the pipeline, but you should be also following at I am just Q. So go and do it just like I am.
Wait, do you not have a hat, Q?
Q has a hat. Don't you? You just saw him post a picture of it.
Okay,
Unless I'm going crazy here, and if I am, we can sort it out after.
Do you want the hat, Q? Just
I'm pretty darn sure.
yes, you do want the hat, or yes, you have one. No, I'm confused.
I know
I have
he
nothing.
has one.
He says.
What? All right, Q. We'll sort this out after. If you don't already have merch, we will certainly honor the win there.
This was an awesome episode. We had a new guest, an in real life guest. One of the things that I kind of wanted to bring up is, who would you guys like to see on Monad in the Morning? Like, who would be your ideal guest? Like, if you had a dream guest to have on here, Danny, who would you want to have on?
Ooh, that's a good question. Before I answer that, and kind of to give myself just a second to think about it, I would say, if you do have a nomination for a guest, go comment on this week's stream on X and tag the guest that you want to see come on the show. So be like, I want to see at so-and-so, at Keone, obviously just an example, but I want to see at Keone come on the show.
Like, let's think big.
Yeah.
Let's think some big.
I mean,
ones.
I think for me, someone I've always wanted to have a conversation with is Gary V. It would be super cool in New York. I know he's often here. Would be so awesome to have Gary on. I know he's like definitely pretty experienced in Web3, but also in a lot of other areas. And I think it would just be a great conversation. When I got into the space in 2021, he was my first like big follow. I think I tuned into a Gary V live stream and actually like wrote up some intern style notes from his live stream and tweeted that, like quote tweeted whatever content stream or whatever he was in, and then he gave me the follow. So good testament to the advice that intern and Frank gave just a couple minutes ago. But yeah, if you do have a banger guest nomination, think of people that are not in the Monad ecosystem, maybe not even in crypto, but people that would just be interesting to have a conversation with. And then on today's stream on X, go tag them in the comments. Say, hey, we'd love to have you on the show in the future.
What you really should do is clip that of him talking about Gary V, tag, and like, let's just rate it, make it happen.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
One of my dream guests would be Tom Bilyeu.
Oh yeah,
Tom is like, I've been watching Tom's content when it was Impact Theory of like nothing related to crypto, or he talks a lot about AI more recently. But Tom Bilyeu, I think, would be an awesome guest to talk to. And now he has had some Web3 experience and some NFT projects and stuff like that. It would just be a really cool guest. So my dream guest would be Tom Bilyeu for sure.
Banger, love it. We actually have one more spin.
Oh,
one more spin. Get that wheel up
sorry,
here,
guys.
This spin is for a long time listener of the Pipeline and Monad in the Morning. One of my favorite names to say on the show, probably my favorite name to say on the show. This one is for Jarek D.
Spin
Jarek
it.
D getting the spin. Some great content from the
Let's
past few
run it.
episodes. Jarek D, this one's for you. Final spin of the day for Jarek D. Jessup, what do we got?
Plushie.
Jarek D taking home a plushie. Awesome. Well, this was an absolute banger. If you want a prize, hit up Savant on Twitter. If you didn't, don't. And we will catch you next week. We have, I think, 2 guests for next week. One is definitely in person. They may both be in person. We're not going to announce them just yet, but they are absolute bangers. So
Next week is it's an exciting one. It's definitely a topic that I'm very interested in. So
yep. And we actually booked a second guest last night who you don't even know about.
yeah,
yet.
I'm not even aware.
So next week, going to be a banger every Thursday, live from New York, 10 a.m. Eastern time.
Live from the Sahara Desert.
Live from Nova Scotia, every Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Thank you very much for tuning in today. We look forward to seeing clips on the timeline throughout the next week. And until next Thursday, we'll catch you.
Also tomorrow. So tomorrow,
plug it, Jessup.
Yeah,
plug
tomorrow we know how much you guys love Mana in the morning. Tomorrow we are running another stream. This one is aimed at creators. We have a special guest, Ben Farr. He is a YouTube creator and strategist. He has grown a channel. Like he worked for it was a financial YouTuber, and he grew that channel to like 1.5 or 1.8 million subscribers. He is responsible for over 150 million views collectively on YouTube, which is awesome. So he will be coming on tomorrow. It's at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time, and yeah, it's going to be a banger. So bring some questions. If you are a creator, this is it.
Beauty. And I do have one more final announcement, and I just want to tell you all about this very important thing, which is